Welcome to this second webinar of Carbon Lab 10th anniversary celebration. We have recently completed our 10 years in IIT Hyderabad, and it's our great pleasure to have today with us Professor Sriram Ramakrishna from NUS and Dr. Nisa Salim from Swinburne University of Technology, Australia. So as we know that on the occasion of 10th year celebration, we have started this webinar series. First webinar was arranged on 20th December in the field of energy storage devices and carbon nanomaterials. And this is the second webinar in the series on nanofibers. So as I mentioned, today we have our distinguished speakers. And before we go to the talks today, we have a small presentation on the Carbon Lab contribution in the area of nanofibers. So let me just play that presentation. So let me share the screen. So with this brief introduction of Carbon Lab, I now hand over the proceeding to my students, Akansha and Poonam, to proceed further.
Thank you so much, sir. A very warm and pleasant morning to one and all. I am Poonam Rani with my colleague Akanksha Rohila. We are PhD scholars at Carbon Laboratory, IIT Hyderabad. We would like to welcome all the viewers in the second webinar of the series titled Nanofiber, Observing 10 Years of Success of our Carbon Lab. Before we start with our esteemed speakers today, I would like to request Dr. Mrinalini Gaidhane, postdoctoral fellow in Carbon Laboratory, to summarize Carbon Lab contribution in the area of nanofibers. We request you all to post your questions in YouTube chat box. We will take them up at the end of the webinar. Welcome, Dr. Mrinalini.
Thank you everyone for joining us in 10th year anniversary celebration of Carbon Lab. I take this privilege to present research on electrospun, polymer and carbon nanofibers, contributions of Carbon Lab. I shall discuss the key outcomes from the research work done by Dr. Akash Nathani in sensors, Akanksha Rohela in tissue engineering, then by Sheetal Yadav, Dr. Manipujita Illa and myself in healthcare. Before moving into the topic, let me tell you how we fabricate the nanofibers. We use a simple, easily programmable and scalable technique called electrospinning, which utilizes electric force to draw micro or nanofibers from polymer-based solution. As you can see in the video, a basic setup consists of a syringe pump, a voltage supply, and a grounded collector. The polymer-based solution is loaded into the syringe and pushed at definite flow rate. The droplet oozes out from the blunt needle, and after applying an electric field, the droplet gets charged. Now, three different forces interplay at the verge of needle tip. Surface tension and viscoelastic forces act inwardly, tending the drop to be spherical in shape, while Coulombic forces act outwardly, stretching the drop into conical shape, termed as Taylor cone. When Coulombic forces exceeds the other two, a polymer jet with a like charges erupts and travel to the oppositely charged collector. While traveling towards the collector, solvent gets evaporated and dried nanofibers in the form of continuous non-woven matrix are deposited on collector. These nanofibers possess high specific surface area, high porosity, interconnectivity of fibers, and facilitates surface functionalization and easy encapsulation of active molecules such as drugs. In Carbon Lab, we have explored the applicability of electrospun nanofibers in various sectors. In healthcare, we introduced nanofibers for feminine hygiene and as a drug excipients. Considering the cell adhesive mechanism, we fabricated aligned and patterned nanofibers for bone regeneration and further islet cell encapsulation for diabetic cure. In agriculture, for the first time, we introduced seed storage bags of nanofibers. Then, amine functionalized nanofibers for fluoride adsorption in polluted water for environmental remediation. In sensors, we developed highly porous as well as hierarchical micro nanostructures as biosensors and gas sensors. And in energy field, we explored carbon nanofibers as an anode material. Today, I shall discuss some of the notable contributions from our lab. First, in healthcare, high absorbency cellulose acetate nanofibers for feminine hygiene application. In commercial sanitary napkins, superabsorbent polymers are added in the absorbent core in order to improve their absorption capacity. However, these superabsorbents are found to have certain adverse effects on the health of user and also on the environment. Here, we demonstrate the potential use of electrospun cellulose acetate nanofibers as a material for adsorbent core in feminine sanitary napkins. By virtue of the large surface area and porosity, it is found that electrospun nanofibers provide a better alternative to achieve even higher absorbency, that too without adding superabsorbents. Sanitary napkins without superabsorbents can be a solution for its safe disposal. Second, in healthcare, amphotericin B-loaded nanofibrous oral tablets for the potential cure of leishmaniasis. Amphotericin B is an amphipathic macrosized drug molecule highly preferred as a primary cure of visceral leishmaniasis and mycotic infection. The oral administration of drug is abstained due to its hydrophobic and self-aggregative nature. Due to this, it imparts nephrotoxicity and has very less bioavailability inside the GI tract. So, we aim to deliver this drug orally in such a manner so as to improve its bioavailability and reduce the toxicity. At first, we accomplished the fabrication of amphotericin B-loaded gelatin nanofibers via electrospinning. The nanofibers were then cross-linked with glutaraldehyde vapors for a few minutes to improve its water stability. As nanofibrous mat could have given fast release due to its high specific surface area, we introduced for the first time the compression of nanofibers into a tablet by using hydraulic press and further coating the tablets with sodium alginate in order to impose drug diffusion barriers. When the release study was carried out in realistic pH condition, mimicking the physiological conditions of stomach, intestines, and duodenum, we found a zero order profile with 100% drug release achieved by 96 hours. Further, these oral tablets of amphotericin B were found to be non-toxic to kidney cells due to slow and sustained release of amphotericin B. In case of oral tablets, the release rate was found to be dependent of degree of cross-linking of nanofibers, the compression pressure, and the thickness of alginate coating. Next is diclofenac sodium-loaded cellulose acetate-based nanofibrous transdermal patches for relieving muscular pain. Diclofenac is an anti-inflammatory non-steroidal drug which undergoes into first-pass hepatic metabolism after its oral administration. Therefore, it is frequently administered to maintain the therapeutic concentration. However, the frequent dosing of diclofenac may result in peptic ulcers and intestinal bleeding. So, we aim to deliver diclofenac transdermally to treat local muscular pain. We loaded diclofenac into cellulose acetate nanofibers, which are hydrophilic in nature and would give a fast initial release. Tuning the surface wettability would give slower release. Thus, a novel and facile concept of micro-patterning of nanofibers using nylon meshes was introduced. The drug-loaded nanofibers were deposited over micro-patterned nylon meshes of different thread spacing as 50 and 100 micrometer. It was observed that the fibers deposited over 50 micrometer spaced nylon mesh showed lower wettability compared to other depositions, including non-pattern mats and thin films. Interestingly, the air trapped inside the interstitial spaces of nanofibers played a major role to control the burst release of diclofenac, which was not desired as it would have caused local toxicity due to its high concentration. Thus, we introduced a cost-effective technique to obtain patterned nanofibers, which can easily change the wettability of nanofibers and ultimately the drug release kinetic. On similar trends, we fabricated natural drugs, honey, and curcumin-loaded multi-layered nanofibrous mat as a wound healing biomaterial. Based on the mutual solubility of drugs and polymer, the sandwiched mat were fabricated, comprising of top and bottom layers of curcumin-loaded cellulose acetate nanofibers and middle layer of polyvinyl alcohol loaded with either honey or curcumin and both the drugs together. The dressing characteristics infers that the selection of polymers in the multi-layered assembly assisted in quick absorption of wound exudate and high water absorbency. Compared to the pure components, the synergistic activity of honey and curcumin further enhanced the antioxidant activity up to 93% and exhibited moderate potential to eradicate E. coli infection. Thus, layered assembly can be used to deliver multiple mutually insoluble drugs to enhance the therapeutic index. Moving to the tissue engineering field, let us discuss about hydrophobic electrospun membranes for islet cell encapsulation. As we know, diabetes mellitus is an autoimmune disease in which the pancreatic cells either stop producing insulin because they are destroyed by the immune system or produce insulin that is insufficient for the body. Here, we demonstrate a fabrication of polymer membrane that has pore size 0.3 to 0.6 micrometer, vital for an active exchange of essential nutrients such as insulin and glucose while ceasing the infiltration of body's immune cells. Also, we introduced hydrophobicity to inherently hydrophilic polymers, which aided in maintaining circular morphology of islet cells to maintain a 3D architecture. Next, in agriculture, we fabricated neem oil encapsulated polyurethane nanofibrous bags for seed storage application. The blend of neem oil and polyurethane in dimethyl formamide solution was prepared and electrospun to obtain the nanofibers. Due to structural integration of neem oil into the soft segments of polyurethane, the load carrying capacity and elasticity of nanofibers was enhanced, which was in comparable range with commercial seed storage bags of polypropylene. When the real-time applicability of these bags were investigated, we found that after 75 days of seed storage, nearly 70% seeds in commercial bags were infected with black mold or storage-borne fungi, whereas only 10% seeds in nanofibrous bags were infected. The reason was found to be the controlled moisture transmission rate achieved through nanofibrous morphology and pesticidal property imparted by neem oil. These nanofabric bags show a great potential towards reducing the seed storage losses and may be a game changer for achieving food security as one of the goals for sustainable development. Coming to the sensors, PAN PMMA block copolymer derived nanoporous carbon nanofibers for hydrogen detection. In this, first we prepared nanofibers of PAN and PAN PMMA block copolymer. The ASPAN nanofibers then heated at 180 degrees to anneal the PMMA phase. In order to retain fibrous morphology, the nanofibers then exposed to ultraviolet radiation to degrade PMMA. The PMMA phase was then aged out in acetic acid solvent to obtain nanopores. Lastly, pyrolysis was carried out to get nanoporous carbon nanofibers of PAN. Now, for the fabrication of sensor, zinc oxide nanostructures were grown on P-type silicon substrate, onto which the interdigited electrode pattern of gold was deposited using thermal evaporation. Then, carbon nanofibers homogeneously mixed in isopropyl alcohol was drop casted on zinc oxide nanostructure. It was found that the nanostructure-based sensor enhanced the sensing response of hydrogen gas at 100 ppm to 74%, which was only 3% in case of carbon nanofibers and 44% in case of zinc oxide nanostructure. This is due to the formation of PN heterojunction at the interface of carbon nanofiber and zinc oxide nanostructure. Further, presence of oxygen functional group on carbon nanofiber surface contributed in enhancement of sensing performance. Now the last one is porous nanofibers based electrochemical immunosensor. Here we first prepared nanofibers of polystyrene polymethyl methacrylate block copolymer. As described earlier, the PMMA phase was thermally annealed, then degraded by UV exposure and aged out in acetic acid to achieve mesoporous nanofibers of polystyrene. The porous nanofibers displayed the presence of higher surface concentration of carboxyl groups needed to bind with biotin. For this, we first activated the specific binding site by using EDC-NHS chemistry. The biofunctionalization of biotin was carried out by treating the surface of nanofibers with biotic hydrazide solution. And then non-specific sites were covered with BSA. When the immunosensing was carried out, it was found that the mesoporous nanofibers increased the sensitivity of streptavidin to 6-fold. Thus, we employed 3-step process to separate a polymer phase from block copolymer and obtain controlled nanoporous and mesoporous morphology, which can be utilized in wide array of sensing. This is all about the brief summary of our research work. I would like to acknowledge all our funding agencies and collaborators. Thank you everyone for your support and for the kind attention. Over to you, Akanksha.
Thank you, Dr. Mrinalini, for such an excellent presentation summarizing everyone's work on nanofibers from our lab.